Shalawam, shalawam. This is the brother Yeshaya. I would like to start this video off by giving all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi, BAHASHAM, Qadash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, the men I learned this truth from. For the new listeners, Yahawah is the name of our Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God, Jehovah, or any other false name. Yahawashi is the name of His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, Yeshua, or any other false name. The true names of the Heavenly Father and His Son are Yahawah or Yahawashi. So this video I had this individual comment on my video, and we kind of went into some precepts. So I figured to share it with the brotherhood. For anyone that hasn't seen this video that I specifically uploaded, or hasn't seen the comments on this actual video. This individual, Jagdish Prajapati, I'm kind of thrown off. I don't know if this account is like some type of weird account, or if it's an actual individual, maybe an Israelite foreigner. An Israelite that may not look like an Israelite, but is through the Spirit, because the Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But we've been scattered among the four corners of the earth, and we may look and act and talk and sound like other nations, but they are Israelites through their forefathers. Because he's actually commented, before I get into the actual video, he's commented before, on this other video I had uploaded, titled Babylon is Lawless. He commented, Esau is Cain. Cain is a fugitive. And that word fugitive represents someone that's running away from from justice. That they're on the run, that they don't want to receive their punishment. But hey, that's why the Heavenly Father is sending His Son Yahawashi. Yahawashi shall deal with Esau, Edom, which today is the so-called white man. So he had commented right here, Cain killed Abel out of envy, since Abel's offering was accepted, but Cain's offering rejected, which is true. Cain killed Abel because he was jealous. He was envious that Abel was accepted. And if you're through the Spirit, Abel and Cain represent Jacob and Esau. Abel represents Jacob, and Cain represents Esau, and vice versa. So, Proverbs 14:30. He had mentioned envy, so this is the precept that I was able to come to. This is Proverbs 14:30. A sound heart is the heart of the flesh, but envy the rottenness of the bones. So, to have self-control is to have a sound heart. You have self-control. You're not, jealous. You're not letting your emotions get the best of you. Because that's a lot of how our people are today. Jake, gets upset and just wants to fight everyone or pull out a gun. Eve, she wants to, lash out and make a scene in front of, everyone. They basically have that mindset like a Karen. So like a Karen, wanting to cause issues. They're contentious. That's how Jake and Eve are. They just want to cause issues. But to have a sound mind, a sound heart, is to be in self-control. That's what brings life. If you have control over your thoughts. But envy the rottenness of the bones. To hate on someone. Thinking that you deserve something that they received. Because we don't. We understand. Through the Spirit that the Heavenly Father is in total control. But to continue, I went ahead and started breaking down some precepts. And it seemed like he accepted it. But these are the precepts I brought out. I said, on the comment board, I said, Esau turned around and hated Jacob for receiving the birthright, which is right. Despite selling it to Jacob, history had repeated itself. Cain's spirit was in Esau. Cain hated Abel and killed him. Esau hated Jacob and wanted to kill him, but the Most High didn't allow it, because Jacob went on and had children, the 12 tribes, which are Israel. This is Genesis 25:33 and 34, the King James Version. And Jacob said, Swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage for lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. So Esau gave the blessing that his father had promised, which is how it was back then. The firstborn received the blessing, of their father. Esau was older than Jacob. They're twins, but Esau was the one that was going to receive the birthright. But through the Spirit, it wasn't set up that way. The scriptures mention that the elder shall serve the younger. which means Esau will serve Jacob. So Esau sold the birthright to Jacob. But jumping down to Genesis 27, verse 41 in the King James Version, it says, "And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. Isaac had blessed Jacob and not Esau. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob." That's the mindset of these people, these Edomites. They want it their way, no matter what the situation, no matter what. Esau wanted to eat and drink that day, so he sold his birthright. That shows you how little he valued his, the blessing. But then whenever it came down to it, he tried to get the blessing, and Jacob had to do what he had to do. The Most High set it up to where Jacob still received the blessing because that was fair. He sold it. Jacob rightfully deserved it, but Esau hated him for it, even though they made that deal and wanted to kill him. And this individual right here commented, it's in Hebrews, I have it pulled up on the tabs I'll pull up in a minute, but he commented, "Unless there is a fornicator or vulgar person like Esau, who sold his birthright for food, for you know that afterwards when he could have received the blessing, he was rejected, for he was unrepentant, though he cried for it seeking." He was rejected because he sold it. And that was righteous of the Most High. It's Hebrews 12 and 16. I'll go ahead and pull that out since we're referring to it. Hebrews 12 and 16. "Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright." Fornicator, let's pull up these words. Fornicator. Of two people who marry to each other have sexual intercourse. Nah, that's not the one. Fornicator. Let's go to the blue letter. 16, blue letter. Hebrews 12:16. I want to get into, the true meaning of fornicator in this context in the scriptures. And I'll even read it in the NLT. "Make sure that no one is immortal or godless like Esau." Hebrews 12:16. Make sure that no one is immoral or godless like Esau, who traded his birthright as a firstborn son for a single meal. So he didn't want his birthright, but in the end he was jealous because, hey, that's the mindset of these wicked men. Fornicator. A man who prostitutes his body to another's lust for hire, a male prostitute, a male who indulges, there it is, that's the meaning. A man who indulges in unlawful sexual intercourse, a fornicator. So these people are disgusting, spiritually as well. These men, they're pedophiles, they're homosexuals, they're just godless. That's really what it goes into. They're immoral. They don't have morals. They sold their birthright because, like the NLT put it, they're immoral or godless. They don't know how to act correctly. Or profane person as Esau. So let's go in that word profane. Irreverent, relating or devoted to that which is not sacred or biblical. So they don't know how to follow the law, statutes, and commandments because it's not even for them to begin with. It was given unto the Israelites. But that's how Esau is. And let me see. I'm going to go ahead and go into John 3 and 8. "The wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest the sound thereof, but canst not tell whence it cometh and whither it goeth. So is everyone that is born of the Spirit." And that proves right there, if that individual is actually, that's his true name. I can't pronounce it, Salakia, but if that's his true name, hey, the Spirit may be dealing with him if that's the true individual. Now, there's accounts out there that, could be just burner accounts. It could be just some made-up persona or whatever. But, hey, the Spirit may be dealing with this individual because he's watched my videos and whatnot. But, I clicked on his videos. He doesn't have any. So, hey, the Spirit may be guiding him, though, and he's seeing the things I'm posting. Or he could just be someone that knows that Esau's an Edomite and he's still a heathen at the end of the day. But and so I meant to say, I'm not sure if I mentioned it correctly, but you can see that the so-called white man is Esau, and Esau is Cain. So that's the spirit they carry. But this is Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. "The thing that hath been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun." And that shows you right there. Even the scriptures tell you what happened before is continuing to happen. So For example, Abel and Cain. Abel can represent Israel, which was killed. He was killed, and he was brought back as Seth, I believe, if I'm not mistaken on that. He was brought back as Adam's other son, Seth. But Cain is Esau. So Cain represents the so-called white man, and Abel represents the so-called Negro, Latino, or Native American, the Israelites. And later on, they came back as Jacob and Esau. Jacob represents Israel as a nation, and Esau represents the Edomites as a nation, the so-called white men. And later on, in this time period, you have other examples throughout the scriptures, which is like Lazarus and the rich man. Lazarus represents the Israelites, the poor man, and the rich man represents Esau. Because in today's society, who rules? Who has it easier? Who gets to basically be living in their paradise? That's Esau. That's the heathen nations. Esau is that top dog, though, in this nation right now. And that's why his kingdom shall be destroyed whenever Yahawashi returns. Because he was in rulership whenever Yahawashi was on the scene. And they were the Romans, So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Lord willing, any brother and sister out there can actually, continue strong in the faith. So, with that, I'm going to just go ahead and close out by saying, HALALYAM la Yahawah BAHASHAM Yahawashi BAHASHAM Qadash. The Wadi Yahawah BAHASHAM Yahawashi for this truth. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, the man I learned this truth from. Until next time, SHALAWAM to the hopeful elect.